Today, we're going to check out a flight that at just 90 minutes long really couldn't be that much better. We'll see the airport, the lounge, the business class seat, the food, and more. So let's get into it. Welcome to Nagoya. If you'd like to know the exact fare that I paid for my flight or my next 5 videos in queue, please check out the description below. And if you're new here, hi there and welcome. My name is Kevin. You've found yourself on a channel that takes unbiased travel content pretty seriously. I make airline trip reports, high-end hotel reviews, and will soon dabble with cruises as well. I always film without the airline or hotel's knowledge to be sure to get a true experience. That way I can give you nothing more than my own personal, honest, unbiased opinion. Getting from Nagoya Station to the airport is a very easy process, though I do think I accidentally got on the slow train. Either way though, a thoroughly smooth experience. Today we're going to be flying with Korean Air on their 787-9 in business class to Seoul, where I'll connect on to Singapore. As with the majority of international flights from Nagoya, today we're going to be flying from Terminal 1, which is a pretty good segue into why am I in Nagoya to begin with. Originally, I had a flight from Tokyo to Singapore booked on Zip Air. But they canceled my flight around a week beforehand, so I was trying to find an interesting way to get down to Singapore. Originally, I was looking at Tokyo origin flights, which were comically expensive, including on Korean Air. But then I just started broadening the search a bit and found this gem that started in Nagoya with a 787-9. So, I booked that and took the Shinkansen bullet train down from Tokyo a few hours before check-in time. Nagoya really didn't have too many international flights at the time, so it was a thoroughly pleasant and just peaceful experience at each step of the journey. Opening the check-in counters precisely 3 hours before departure time, I was able to use the business class counter, which Korean refers to as prestige class. Quite fitting since last night I was staying at the Okura Prestige Tower. Korean Air also offers an expedited check-in service for economy passengers called Morning Calm. That might possibly be the most Korean thing that I've ever heard of. Anyway, check-in was very speedy, and then security and immigration was very organized with clear instructions on what needs to come out of your bag, which I thoroughly appreciate. Once through, we were into a mostly empty terminal with beautiful sweeping views of the tarmac with the beautiful bay and clear day as a backdrop, the airport being surrounded entirely by water, built on a man-made island, similar to Osaka Kansai and Hong Kong airports. Come to think about it, Tokyo Haneda is an island itself as well. As always, my first task of the day was to find the lounge. Surprisingly, Korean Air has their own lounge here, and oh, what a lounge it was. With such beautiful views from the terminal, the lounge must be some next level stuff, right? Well, definitely next level, just not in the correct direction. Honestly, I don't understand the point of even operating the lounge. No windows, cramped seating area, and a small assortment of snacks and drinks with a North Korean military parade playing on the TV. I had a quick snack and then headed back upstairs to the sunlight. Side note, I love when an airport is practical with bathroom doors. We all have bags, they need to get in there too. Was just filming randomly and was more than pleased with myself when I realized that I caught a touch and go on camera. Was a bit less impressed when I realized that it was on purpose and the 6th one that they've done in a row. So, Korean Air. How do I say this? I'll quote the then president of South Korea, Kim Dae-jung, who in 1999 described the safety record of Korean Air as, quote, an embarrassment to the nation, unquote. He chose to fly Asiana instead. So yes, Korean Air has had quite a few safety issues in the past. Key words there though, in the past. Korean Air, as we know them, was founded in 1969 after Korean Airlines was purchased from the government. They currently serve 126 cities in 44 countries, along with 13 domestic destinations. From 1970 until now, Korean Air has written off an insane 17 aircraft due to serious incidents or accidents. 16 of them, though, were from before 1999. I bring up their safety record simply because, number one, it's kind of an elephant in the room when talking about Korean Air. And number two, I think the record, looked at now, does little more than show how much they've obviously improved since their very sketchy days of the past. And here is our beautiful aircraft arriving today. She seems to be the main event for the spectators at the very cool observation deck on the roof of the terminal. I've never been a fan of Korean's livery, but I do have to admit on a 787, it's really striking. In 2000, Korean Air became a founding member of the SkyTeam Alliance and later in 2007 created a low-cost carrier named Jin Air, which, like almost all low-cost carriers in Korea, has a large focus on the Seoul to Jeju route, the busiest on Earth. In 2020, Korean Air announced intentions to merge with rival Asiana Airlines and acquire Asiana's two low-cost carriers, Air Busan and Air Seoul, as well. Their intentions is to combine the three low-cost carriers into one and the two full-service into another. But they are hitting many snags along the way, as you'd expect when you take 50% of a country's airlines and try to merge them all together. Korean Air currently has 132 commercial passenger aircraft with a further 81 on order. Our boarding was delayed 3 times, 10 minutes at a time with a thorough apology at each time, and we began boarding at our original departure time. As for today's flight stats, we ended up taking off 40 minutes late for our 92-minute flight to Seoul's Incheon Airport, cruising at 34,000 feet at a snail's pace of 380 knots, arriving just 10 minutes behind schedule somehow. Filming anonymously, as in no invitations, no sponsorships, no freebies, and no special treatment. I think it's an important part about any unbiased review, whether for a flight or a hotel stay. If you support honest travel content like this, please be sure to give this video a like and subscribe. Those are the 2 easiest ways that you can help the channel continue to grow, so I can continue to put out this twice weekly and soon 3 times weekly content. For those of you also interested, my Patreon is linked below. Thanks very much for watching today. I was greeted by the purser as I boarded through door 1 and passed through the single row of quote-unquote first class as I headed back to business class. My seat for today being 9 Juliet. Korean 787s really are an anomaly of the entire industry, as that first row they really do consider a different class of service, but the seats are exactly the same. I've read many others try to justify why this makes sense, but it does not. Don't really care about that though when we have Apex suites to fly in. Apex suites are hands down my favorite non-customized business class seat to fly in. And with today's flight, I've now officially published reviews on all airlines that offer the seat, since there are just 4 of them. What some people think you lose to a claustrophobic vibe, I think is more than made up for by the fact that you can make a legit bed with no foot cubby. This is one of the very few seats out there that I personally can actually sleep on. The seats are in a unique 2-2-2 configuration, with the window seats being slightly staggered to give everyone direct aisle access without having to climb over your neighbor. For those on the aisle seats, they'll have this small nook for storage, while the window seats will have enough space here to pass through. Of all of the Apex suites that I've flown on, Koreans are actually the smallest by dimension. But there are a couple smart storage areas custom to their configuration. Each seat has a universal outlet as well as a USB port hidden away, a small drink table, which admittedly is not in the best spot, and some more storage on the side below your armrest. Just above that are the intuitive seat controls as well as the in-flight entertainment remote. The headphones were not that great, but I do love a good pair of open-toe airline slippers. Blankets were available on request only. Upon boarding, there was a big old floppy pillow at the seats though. Full printed menus were passed out, along with non-alcoholic pre-departure drinks and a pre-packaged snack mix. The K-pop themed safety video began shortly after. I should mention one silly design feature is the fixed in place armrest, which can only be lowered when the seat is made fully flat. We began to push back and more of that K-pop continued. You can't film a flight departing Japan without getting the ground crew waving either. We were just waiting for one air doe to land before our departure, which would be to the south before quickly turning towards the northwest. The spool up and incredibly beautiful takeoff are coming up now. As lunch service was being prepared, I had a quick look at what was on offer in the bathroom. Surprised to see Atelier Cologne toiletries, something I haven't seen since the Majestic Hotel in Barcelona. As for the in-flight entertainment, it's a surprisingly limited assortment, specifically limited when it comes to new releases, but surely still more than enough for a couple of flights. Lunch service began as we were crossing over the Japanese coast. Here's the full menu. The red prices are sample retail prices that I added to the graphic for the wines on offer. I repeat, I added those red prices. No, you do not need to pay those prices on board. For lunch, there was a choice of Western or Korean options. I chose the Korean, which today was mixed seafood with hot bean sauce served with noodles and vegetables. This was served alongside a small side salad and with a few less than amazing rolls. The main dish itself was really good. Dessert was a small fruit plate, and overall, for a 92-minute flight, I'd say this was a pretty satisfying meal. Let's quickly peruse the onboard bookstore. Each seat came with enough reading material to make up for the lack of the new movies. And how about this for a duty-free catalog? We were soon crossing over the Korean coastline, but before we start our descent, let me just show you the seat in full flat mode. Plenty of space to spread out. There's also a divider that can be raised and lowered between you and your neighbor. When not sleeping, as long as you have a friendly-ish neighbor, I prefer to keep it down. Because of the seat's stagger, you're not going to see your neighbor regardless. We had a bit of an otherworldly descent into Seoul with some pretty gross air quality waiting for us today. And that is that. Pretty good stuff. Service on board also was efficient, and no, just efficient is the word. It was friendly and all, but nothing over the top. I'd happily fly Korean again if and only if someone can explain to me what happened on my next Korean Air video, which is coming out next week. Truly, something that I can't explain. It'll make sense when you watch the video. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe with notifications on so that you don't miss a beat. I'll see you next time for finally, some cruise content. Join me as we check out what Costa Cruises is all about. Oh, and thanks for watching until the end.